Hello and welcome back to your Sunday night football with your host Usman Akhtar. And as you can see today, we have got a new guest, Junaid Iqbal. How are you, my friend? How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for asking. What about yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Good to have you on first and foremost. Yeah, just to quickly let you guys know, Junaid is a Man United fan. So I know we've got two Man United fans on. We were expecting a Liverpool fan, however, Aaron was going to be on. However, he did drop out. I'm not sure if it was because I lost to Man City. We won't say it's because I lost to Man City. But like I said, it's good to have you on first and foremost. And I'll pass it on to you. What did you make of the Manchester City and Liverpool result? Obviously, Man City winning 2-1. Aguero, Sane, and Firmino with the goal. So what did you make of the game?
First of all, I want to start saying a big thank you for Usman for having me. And bro, you did an amazing job. And the Man City Liverpool game, as a neutral, I think it was an amazing game. I think Liverpool, they had their chances. I think the Man City overall were the better team and deserved to win.
So you think Man City was a better team as well?
I think only one team came out to play football. I think Liverpool were content with getting a point. I think Jurgen Klopp missed a trick there.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying in the sense that Man City was a better team. I personally thought Man City controlled most of the game. There were incidents that I thought Liverpool did. Obviously, they caused a lot of problems on the break. In particular, the one incident when Salah and I think it might be Mane, when they played a couple of 1-2s, Salah hit the post. In fact, Mane hit the post, sorry, and then Salah got the rebound, that kind of thing. Just regarding the game in general, did it surprise you the way Klopp approached it, or was you expecting them to be more sort of reserved going into the game?
I was really surprised the way Klopp set his team out. I thought Liverpool would go out there full of confidence, go out there and try to win the game. But looking at the team, I thought Pep Guardiola was a masterclass for Pep Guardiola. I think Man City would deserve the winners. So
do you think Pep Guardiola deserves a lot of sort of credit for the game, or do you think it's obviously down to his players as well?
I think Pep Guardiola deserves some credit. I think Man City, the team chasing,
yeah,
and it's very difficult to go there when you need a win, to go out there and get the win, especially when you're chasing the title.
Yeah, so obviously, like you said, they're chasing the title. For me personally, you know, going into the game, you know, if you watched the last show, you would have seen that I thought this kind of thing would happen. I was a bit surprised with Liverpool, if I'm being quite frankly honest, because I did actually expect them to be a bit more aggressive. In the sense that obviously how we spoke off the air, like if they won this game, they practically, obviously they haven't, but they've almost won the title. So in a sense, do you think Klopp literally just settled for a draw, or do you think he was thinking about obviously going for the win?
I think the way Klopp approached the game at Liverpool, it looked like from a neutral point of view they were content with taking a point and then just hoping not to lose. I think if Liverpool won, I think that would have been the final nail in the coffin. That would be the title. I think it's 10 points a bit too much, but I think it's blown the title race wide open, and I think the momentum will be with Man City now.
Yeah, no, that is a valid point, the momentum being with City. However, what I will say to that is Liverpool have got a lot of easy games still. You know, this was the kind of the game, obviously they had Arsenal, but class as an easy game, absolutely hammering them. But yeah, just in general, I understand what you're saying with the momentum being Man City, but I still would say that Liverpool are firmly in the driver's seat because, like we spoke about earlier, Man City have still got to play all the top teams as well as Liverpool. So it would be interesting how it'll go. Somebody's put Liverpool are best team this year. Anis Chowdhury's put Liverpool best team this year. Do you agree with that comment, or would you disagree with that? So just hypothetically speaking, if Liverpool were to win the league, what was that? Do you agree with that?
I think if Liverpool win the league, I think.
Do you think they've been the best team this year so far?
Questionable. I think Liverpool have played well this season and played well in patches. I think Man City are the best team in Europe, and I think Man City are the best team in the country.
Right, so you're still a firm believer of Man City being best team in Europe, even after the couple of, like, they've been through a rough patch, haven't they, really? To be honest with you, I said this a couple of weeks ago, I think Liverpool haven't been that good just yet. They're peaking at the right time in the sense that they're starting to come into form now. You see, obviously the hammered Arsenal, but prior to the Arsenal game, they're starting to get better. As you can see, Salah's starting to get more goals now. Firmino finally scored. You spoke about Mane off the air as well. But just in general, I think that Liverpool are definitely becoming you know, the Liverpool that we saw last season when they were absolutely devastating on the break. But just going forward, do you think Liverpool have got the strength in depth to actually go all the way this year? Because obviously we know so many Liverpool fans, they always say it's our year, it's our year. Do you actually think they're capable of going the full distance?
First of all, I think Liverpool have got the squad. I think they will fall short in terms of numbers. I think Liverpool will get close to the league. I don't think they'll actually win it.
So you basically say Man City are going to win it?
I think Man City are going to win it. I think with the squad, with Europe kicking in and playing twice a week, I think it will play its toll on that Liverpool squad.
Just move the mic closer to you, sorry. Yeah, okay, go on, Karen.
I think with the Champions League and playing twice a week, I think it will catch up on Liverpool. And I think a few injuries Salah, Mane, and it will get very difficult. It's very difficult for Liverpool to replace those players. But if you look through the Man City squad, you have players like Gundogan on the bench, you have Jesus on the bench, you have Vincent Kompany on the bench. These are players that are starting level players.
Yeah.
Players. I think Man City, in terms of squad, size of squad, I think they've got the best squad in Europe. And I think playing twice a week will catch up with Liverpool. Yeah,
no, to be fair, that's a very valid point, especially in the way that Klopp plays with his higher press. To be fair, I think Spurs are kind of been, you know, someone who's suffered from this as well, because they haven't got strength in depth. They had that week when they were playing, I think you had Chelsea, Inter Milan and Arsenal in 1 week, and you saw against Chelsea and Inter Milan how good they were in those 2 games, and then Arsenal got beat 4-2. So coming back to obviously your comment, they did catch up on them, and I think that is something that might happen potentially. What I will say is they have definitely got more strength in depth that they had last season. Like the midfield for me can definitely be changed, Liverpool one anyways. But yeah, I think the main concern, if I was a Liverpool fan, the main concern would be Salah and Mane. I think Firmino, although he does unbelievable work, they might be able to get away with replacing him slightly with like Shaqiri or someone like that. Maybe, obviously it's not the same, but I don't think they can replace Salah or Mane. But just coming back to Kompany, obviously from this game, Kompany's not played many games. I think this is his first time he's played 2 games in a row. What did you make of his tackle? Did you think it was a red card? Because obviously some people say it's a red. Obviously Liverpool fans are saying it's a red. He was given a yellow. What did you make of it?
I think it's 50-50. I mean, some referees would have given a red card there. It was dangerous.
Do you think that? Do you think there was enough contact for Salah to go down, or?
There was contact there, and it can be a red card on its day, and it can be yellow. But I see what the referees coming and giving a yellow didn't spoil the game. I think some referees would have given a red card.
But if that was, just say that's your team, for example, just say it's happened against Man United, and obviously with Man United fans, how do you feel? To be honest, because there was an incident a couple of years ago, I think it was Bravo who took Rooney out in the box, and obviously we got nothing for it, and I was absolutely fuming. Some people were saying it's not a foul, some people were saying it was. But realistically speaking, if that was one of our players, like truthfully speaking, I know I feel like you're being a bit biased.
I think personally, as a Man United fan, if that was one of our players, I'd be jumping up and down, red card, claiming that we've been robbed. So I think it was 50-50. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been given a red, but it wasn't.
Oh, okay, I personally think it was a red card. I thought it was reckless, and it was a bit. To be fair, I was obviously I was happy. I'm not gonna lie, I was happy that it wasn't, because obviously I wanted Liverpool to lose. We've got a comment here which I think is a fantastic comment from Was saying, "Can Liverpool put in a bid for goal line technology this window?" Because I don't know if you've seen about the comments Liverpool fans have made about oh, it was over the line. No, the goal line incident with Salah and Stones, I believe. I personally don't know how it went in, but what have you made of all these theories about? I don't know if you've heard anyway, like Liverpool fans basically saying Man City grew the grass and that, so they can't pass the ball. Have you seen any of these theories?
I've heard those saying before, but I can imagine Liverpool fans saying.
Yeah, so they're basically making every excuse under the sun. There was something that you wanted to talk about Liverpool. I can't. You said something about them being at the top or something. It's a bit for shock or something.
I think Liverpool Football Club were like an elephant on a tree. We don't know how they got to the top of the tree, but we know how to come.
Oh, if there's any Liverpool comments, any Liverpool fans in the comment section, yeah, that one's for you, lot. So, are you, to be obviously, I don't know if you're taking the mick or not, but are you surprised that Liverpool are there? Because obviously Man City were absolutely fantastic. Some people saying the best whatever team ever in the Premier League history. Are you genuinely surprised Liverpool are there, or do you think it's on merit? Do you think they're basically what I'm saying? Do you think they deserve to be there?
I think they do deserve to be there. be on top. They have played some good football, extremely good football. I mean, with the money they spend, there is no excuse for not to win the league.
So what, hypothetically speaking, just say they don't win the league, yeah? They don't win the Champions League. Obviously,
we all know that's not gonna happen.
yeah. So they don't win either of them. We'll just say Klopp doesn't win anything, just for the sake of it. Do you think he's been a flop, or do you think he's in his time?
I think Klopp's in a couple of years now. He's been at Liverpool.
Yeah. 2
full seasons. I think now's the time he's going to start winning something. I think if they don't win the league this year, don't win anything this year.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a great season. I think it'll be Klopp will need some stern words. I mean, spending 200 million.
Yeah, no, spend a lot of money this year.
And Co. They've got to start winning something. All you hear is on social media about Liverpool. It's their year.
Yeah, and it's been their year since '92, since I've been born. To be honest.
Yeah. According to Liverpool fans, at December when they're top of the league, they've won the league.
To be fair, according to Liverpool fans, when they're top of the league after 2 games, they've won the league. But then again, I'm talking about Arsenal fans here. You know what Arsenal fans are like, aren't they?
It's like 17 games left to end the season.
Yeah,
so
there's still a long way to go. Got a good question here from Keishan, actually. Obviously, you've talked about. Obviously, we both mentioned if Liverpool get a couple of injuries, especially to Salah, etc., how much they'll struggle. So he's asked, do you think there's any areas that they can strengthen in January? I know it's difficult in general to obviously buy players in January, but if you was Klopp, for example, or Pep, would you be looking to sign anyone just to get you that closer to the title? Because obviously, at the end of the day, it could be the difference between them winning the title, really.
I think with Liverpool, start with Liverpool.
Yeah, I was about to say, we'll start with Liverpool.
I mean, if Virgil van Dijk gets injured, I mean, do they have anyone to replace him? I mean, Lovren has looked amazing this season because of Van Dijk, and I think.
Well, he wasn't amazing last game, but in general, he has been. Yeah.
I think if Van Dijk gets injured, I think Liverpool could do it in the centre back, perhaps another right back. I think is it Arnold that plays at right back?
Yeah.
I think he's a good player, but I think Sane exposed him. I saw a lot of vulnerabilities in that Liverpool team when they played Man City.
But do you not think it's going to be difficult to get someone of the caliber? Obviously, they're not going to be able to get someone of Van Dijk's caliber, but do you think it'd be difficult to get someone off, just say, I don't know, that similar ability to Lovren that's going to want to sit on the bench? Because realistically speaking, if they come in January, they're going to be cup tied, they're going to be X, Y, Z. Most of the teams that they're going to be wanting to buy from, realistically, will still be in the Champions League, because obviously they're not going to want, unless you're going for like a cooler Barley, or maybe a Manolas or something like that. So just. Obviously, with the Van Dijk, I've said this on numerous occasions. If they lose Van Dijk, potentially that could be the end of the season. To be fair, because he's been so influential in their defense. Obviously, like you said, he's even made Lovren look good, and we saw against Man City how poor of a defender Lovren is. That he got exposed. Trent and Alexander-Arnold has been exposed twice now by somebody with a bit of pace. To be fair, obviously, Son is quality. So it is easy to get exposed by someone of that ability, but Rashford also exposed him last season as well when he scored past them. So it is interesting. So obviously with the defensive aspect, they do need a couple of replacements, but just going into the front line, do you think there's anyone that they could bring in the immediate future to obviously replace Salah, the Manes, etc.?
I think a backup for me, Roberto Firmino.
Yeah.
I mean, in January is quite a difficult time. A lot of teams don't want to part with the players. They could decide or they've been in Champions League. Whether they can get someone in January or not, it's a big question. I think a few injuries in that Liverpool team will struggle up front.
To be fair, they've been quite lucky, really, if you think about it, because Man City have had practically everyone injured. They've had Aguero, they've had De Bruyne, they've had defenders injured, they've had Silva's been injured. Pretty much all their main players have been injured at some point. Mendy's injured now still, so that main left back, they've got Zinchenko playing one game, and then they don't even know who's playing left back each week. So in that sense, Liverpool have been lucky, although they have had a couple of injuries themselves. But just moving on in general, personally, I don't think Man City need anyone. I don't know if you want to add anything to Man City signing a player. Do you think they need anyone in January?
I think someone for Fernandinho. Fernandinho gets
yes, yeah, Fernandinho, yeah.
That'll be a big loss. I mean, you can see how important he is to him. Since Guardiola's come in, he's took Fernandinho's game to another level. So I think perhaps a holding midfielder.
Yeah, no, that's a valid point actually.
Gundogan can play there as well. They have got a few of the players that can adapt to that situation.
Yeah, no, yeah, to be fair, I think they could get someone like Ndidi from Leicester. Like, he's had quite a good season as well, and I'm pretty sure someone of his caliber would be happy to come from Leicester to Man City, even if it means he's sat on the bench, so it would be a good replacement. Just got a quick question here again from Keishan. It's a bit of a joke, this one. Emil Heskey or Morata, who would you rather have?
Emil Heskey.
You'd rather have Emil Heskey? I would as well, to be fair. Emil Heskey, I think he's underrated to me.
Terrible signing.
He's an upgrade on Lukaku, isn't it?
Of course.
As speaking of Lukaku, let's move on to our beloved Manchester United. So Man United beat Newcastle 2-0. Goals from Lukaku, otherwise known as Heskey, and Rashford. Sorry. First and foremost, what did you make of the game?
I thought Man United played really well. I think the confidence looks like it's back. And I think players like Rashford need more game time.
Yeah.
I think Man United will just kick on. Whether they get top 4 now, it's a different question. But I think Man United confidence is back. I mean, you can see the players are wanting to play for Oli. Confidence is definitely back. I can see good things for Man United next season. I mean, this season should be written off.
Yeah, no, I
finishing the top 4 and not, it's a different question.
100%. No, I think the season definitely was written off as soon as Jose was sacked, of course. But to be fair, it was written off even with him in job, because we both know we massively despise what he's doing at United. But just regarding the lineup itself, there were a few noticeable changes, especially on the right side. I don't know what you think, but for me personally, the right side is just horrendous at the moment. It has been for the last couple of years. So we had Valencia starting on the right, and also Mata starting on the right. So, you know, like, basically, what do you make of that? First and foremost, just that side in general. Do you think we need to improve it, or do you think that's like it's okay, sort of thing?
I think Valencia's not played there in a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
We could do with a new new right winger. I think Valencia is not good enough for Man United to be playing there, and I think we're short of right winger.
So
Mata's not a right winger.
Would you try to buy someone to replace, or would you think that we've got the players within the squad to replace that? For example, we've got we'll talk about Sanchez in a second, but do you think we've got players in our squad, or do you think we need to go out in January and actually buy a right winger?
I mean, probably get away with in January, but I think we have got players to get us through to the end of the season. But next season, the right wing is definitely going to be a position that we've got to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I personally, I agree with what you're saying in the sense that, yeah, we can definitely get through to end of the season. But one thing I don't actually agree with is the fact the game, I don't think we played that well. I think in the first half we were okay. Like, I thought we played decent, don't get me wrong. I've got to give credit to Newcastle because they contained us really well. And then obviously the change made the difference. The two changes, Sanchez and Lukaku, made the impact off the bench, sort of thing. But in general, I thought the containers really well. We didn't have many chances. We had a few openings. But yeah, just coming back to the right side, I think that's our main issue at the moment. And even under Jose Mourinho, it was making us too predictable. Because obviously, like you said, Mata is not a right winger. He kept coming inside, making it very easy for us to be played against, and then Valencia is not there. Do you think we need a right back as well, or do you think Delo's like capable of filling that position?
I think we could do it cover. I think we could do it a proper solid right back. I mean, whether there's anyone out there that would want to come in January, but we could do it right back.
Yeah, we've got a few questions here. Hamza said right side is a big problem as well. So there's a few people agreeing with what you've said. Keishan's asked another question for you actually. This is something we've spoken about in the previous show, so it'd be nice to see what you think about it. Do you think Lukaku's been unfairly criticised at Man United? Because obviously he came on and scored the most important goal, let's be honest. If like I said, Newcastle were very resilient. Prior to Lukaku's addition, we looked like, to be fair, we looked like we might get a goal, but even in saying that, he couldn't do what he can do in it, which is obviously put the ball in the net. So do you think he's being unfairly criticised, or do you think he deserves that criticism?
I think criticism, he deserves criticism. I think the reason why is when you come with that price tag, I mean, Lukaku isn't a complete player. He had the pace when he played at Everton, at West Brom. I just don't think that he's good enough to play for Man United. I think the 90 million that we spent on him, I think that was a bad signing. I mean, Lukaku needs to be shipped out the door or something. I don't think he's good enough to be United.
So you don't think he's good enough to...
He looks overweight. Doesn't look like the same player that he was at Everton and West Brom.
Do you think that's down to confidence as well? Because obviously we've talked about, you know, you spoke already, you know, at the start when we first discussed Man United, how the players look like they've got their confidence back. Do you think that's same for Lukaku? Because stat-wise, obviously it doesn't paint the whole picture, but he scored 3 and 3, which is obviously the most he can do realistically. So do you think we are being a bit harsh on him, like we need to give him a chance, or do you generally just think he's not good enough?
I just don't think he's good enough. I think his first touch is terrible. It's like his feet are like trampolines and ball is feet. I think it's terrible. I think maybe if we spent 90 million to keep faith in him one more season.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's a Man United player. Would Fergie have bought Lukaku?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's a good point, but obviously, like you said, the money that we spent on him is a considerable amount. Is there anyone in the top of your head you think we can replace him with, or would you just give that opportunity to Rashford? Do you think Rashford deserves that opportunity, or?
I think we should. I think Rashford does deserve the opportunity, but that 90 million that we spent on Lukaku,
We're not going to get it back, are we? Really?
I think realistically we should have got Harry Kane. Harry Kane.
We're not going to get Harry Kane for 9 million.
Yeah, probably if you invest a bit more money, try test Tottenham out. Whether the player wants to come or not, it's a different story.
Yeah.
I just don't think Lukaku is good enough. I think we can go in with Rashford another season, but we will need cover. I mean, Rashford's a young player. He's still learning and developing his game, but Lukaku is terrible. He's not the complete player.
Just hypothetically speaking, regarding Lukaku in general, just say he's obviously not this season, but just say next season he scores 30 goals for us. Just say he scored, because at the end of the day his job is just to score goals. You saw against Reading, I believe, Reading, when Sanchez played the ball through to him. For me personally, I agree with a lot of what you've said. His build-up play is not acceptable at a club of Man United stature. I agree with pretty much most of it, but what I will say is some of it, do you think we're not playing to his strength? Because like you saw against Reading, when he's running rather than when he's back towards goal, obviously he's a lot more of a threat. Do you get what I mean? Like when he's on the shoulder of the player, he seems like he's a better player. Do you think we're not playing to his strength, or do you generally think that he needs to be replaced?
I think he needs to be replaced.
Would you put him on the bench? Would you keep him in the squad, or would you just get rid of him?
It'd be a good bench player, perhaps an impact player. But
Yeah.
the way we play our football under Ferguson and the old Man United teams, I don't think Lukaku is good enough.
Fair enough. To be fair,
I mean, it's not good enough. I mean, look against the big top 6 teams that he plays against. He goes missing. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think we have an Aguero.
yeah, no, I agree. We need someone like who's clinical.
Killer instincts, and Lukaku does not have that killer instinct. Moving forward, if United are going to start winning the Premier League and start winning major cups, Lukaku isn't the person.
Can you suggest one then, like who you think might be available? Because what you said, to be fair, is echoing quite a lot of Man United fans. I've said it so many times on the show. Like, he's not the person that's going to take us forward. Is there anyone on the top of your head that you could think of that's available? For me personally, the first one I think of is Icardi, but because he's quite clinical. But even then, I don't know, because I feel like Rashford's got the capabilities, but then it's almost like we're developing. Do you know what I'm saying? In the sense that, you know, like how England are doing, the national team, of course, they've got a lot of young talent. Southgate's coming, he's brought through a lot of young players, etc. I feel like we're kind of in a similar phase that we need to have faith in the young players in a sense. Because obviously with Rashford, I've been very critical of Rashford, but he's been fantastic. Like, to be honest with you, the way he's played, the energy he's given us is given a different dimension. We have got a couple of people saying keep him. Hamza basically echoed what you said with the sort of his build-up play, that kind of thing. So in that sense, most people agree with you. What we'll do, we will continue to talk about Man United after the break, but just quickly before we go to the break, what have you made of Sanchez? Do you think this is an opportunity for Sanchez to like turn his season around? Because obviously he's come off, he's got 2 assists within like 80 minutes or so. Do you think Sanchez is the answer, or do you think he needs to get sold as well?
I think Sanchez is the answer. I think under Mourinho's style of football, it does not suit Sanchez. I mean, you don't want to be seeing Sanchez chasing the ball towards his own net. You don't even see him running forward with them driving. You look at the Sanchez of Arsenal and look at Sanchez of Man United. They look 2 different players. It looks like,
yeah, it's like 9 days, isn't it?
I mean, yeah.
We'll talk about Sanchez in more detail, because I think, for me personally, I think that's quite a heavy topic, because we've got quite a lot obviously to discuss, obviously Solskjaer and that kind of stuff. So we'll come and speak about Spurs, etc. after the break, and we'll do the preview. So stay tuned and we'll be back shortly. Hello and welcome back to the Sunday night show with your host Osman Akhtar. Like I said, Joe and Junaid. Hopefully his mic's working. If you can't hear him, just let us know in the chat again. I do apologise for any inconvenience at the start of the show. But yeah, just touch upon Sanchez. A couple of things that you mentioned about him being the answer. For me personally, I find it hard to believe that he could have fallen from such an unbelievable player at Arsenal. I understand, obviously, even at his last season at Arsenal, he was kind of, people said he's declining. I think it's too early for him to be declining, but you could see that he was starting to struggle, lose a bit of his pace, that kind of thing. Do you think he is capable of refining his feet under Solskjaer and the new system that we're playing?
I think with touching on Sanchez, I think he's an amazing player. I think on his last season at Arsenal, he wanted to go. I think his mind was set and he was thinking elsewhere. I think at Man United, the Sanchez we've not seen the best of him. I think if you keep Sanchez happy, he will score you 10 to 15 goals a season. He will create assists. You want to see Sanchez running with the ball forward with his driving runs. Sanchez is a capable goal scorer, but we've not seen the best of Sanchez. I think it's very unfair to criticise him. I don't think he's been given enough opportunities. I think with the injury, he's been very unlucky with injury. I think under Oli, I think he will kick on, and we will start to see the old Sanchez.
Yeah, to be honest with that, I personally think obviously Rashford's kind of made the number 9 position his own since Ollie's come in, so to speak. So I wouldn't want to move Rashford, but do you think Sanchez could potentially play on the right? Because obviously we spoke about needing a right winger. Realistically speaking, he's not going to play him up front because obviously Rashford's there. Martial's on the left. Where would you play Sanchez? Would you play him on the right? Would you play him central? Where do you think he's best suited?
I think that Sanchez is the sort of player that can play on both wings. He can play through the centre. He can also play up front as well. I think Sanchez could be an option to play on the right. I think we should give him a run there, see how that goes, and till the end of the season. And if it doesn't work out, we can try Sanchez back in his favourable position on the left or in the centre. We can take.
But do you think, obviously, for me personally, I don't want him to play on the left. I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of United fans are upset because of what happened under Jose Mourinho, the fact that Martial was displaced. I personally don't see the point of having a player of Martial's calibre on the bench when you can probably shoehorn both of them into the team. Like I said, Sanchez is good enough to play anywhere. Another player that does play on the right wing, obviously Lingard. Very similar to Mata, Lingard tends to drift into the middle part. You see Lingard kind of picking up these central positions. So if Lingard's obviously doing that and he's been successful for it, do you think Sanchez is capable of doing that, or do you think Lingard still deserves to be playing there over Sanchez?
I think first of all, Lingard's a good squad player. I don't think he should be starting every game. I think Mourinho overplayed him. I think Lingard should be the bench and impact player. I mean, some of the games that he's played amazingly well, but I still think Sanchez should be ahead of Lingard.
But a lot of people, we've got Hamza in the comment section as well saying last couple of games Jesse has shown how important he is on the right. Do you think he is massive? Like basically with Firmino for Liverpool, if he's not scoring goals, people still appreciate him because of the work he does off the ball. Obviously, because most of the times we're watching the games on TV, a lot of people that go to the games actually say Lingard's probably the man of the match. A lot of the times when we don't say he is, because we don't see the stuff he does off the ball. Do you think he kind of goes unnoticed, underappreciated a bit?
I think he's a hard-working player, and I think Lingard's the sort of player when you ask whatever you ask him to play, he'll play there without any fuss. But I still don't think he should be starting every game. Still think Sanchez should be given.
Yeah, no, I think Jesse is a squad player. I think
the squad player. I mean, when you go into the Champions League against the big boys like Barcelona, you're buying. I mean, do you really want to be playing Jesse Lingard over Sanchez?
Yeah, it's true. You got to have your best players on the pitch. Really,
is he capable of scoring 10, 15 goals every season? I mean, he does work hard. His work off the ball, no doubt. But against the big boys, I don't think Lingard should be ahead of Sanchez. I mean, if Sanchez plays and he doesn't play well, then I mean we can give Lingard another run.
It's good to have those options, isn't
yes, that's
it. It's good to, like you said with Man City early on, it's important that they've got those players like Gundogan on the bench that can obviously do a job when needed. So we need that as well. Yeah, just moving on to the manager himself, Solskjaer. First and foremost, what have you made of it? What he's done so far, and also what do you think he needs to do to actually seal the job? Obviously it's so early to say because we've got a test against Spurs, but first and foremost we'll start, what have you made of him so far?
I think he's a good manager to come in to take care of the United team to the rest of the season. I think he's got he's got the players happy again. He's got the players wanting to play for the club. We've seen the difference in Pogba, in Martial, these guys. These guys are
Pogba in particular as well.
Really. These guys will make it any Premier League team. I mean, under Mourinho, these players look like they didn't want to play for him. Yeah, they look like.
Do you think the players need to take a bit of responsibility for that as well? Because at the end of the day, you know, as people have said in the past, this is Manchester United. They should be playing for the badge regardless of who's in charge.
But when you got a manager that comes out in the public and is criticising the public, I mean, is that acceptable as a United fan? I mean, I think the players are at fault as well, but I think. When we had Mourinho, I think these players were restricted. We didn't see the best of them. I mean, Pogba looked like he was deliberately underperforming. Yeah. I mean, Ollie's come in. First of all, he's got the players playing, the smiles on the face. I mean, Ollie as a long-term Man United prospect as the manager. I mean, does he have the qualities? I mean, we've seen so far, but there's a lot more stern tests to come. I mean, when we start playing against the teams like Spurs. You play Liverpool again, play Man City again. I mean,
PSG as well, of course.
PSG, of course.
I think that's an important game, that one.
I mean, we'll see a test of Ollie's character. I mean, but I
Because
still
we haven't lost a game as well
yeah.
at the moment, innit? So we need to see how it bounces back, sort of thing.
These teams that we've beat 2-3-0, 4-0. I mean, these teams, Man United should be beating them comfortably under Mourinho. Some of these teams that we played against, we would have won 1-0. It would have been ugly football. Would have won 1-0.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Oli is the right manager so far. I mean, when he starts to play against the tough opposition, such as Spurs, Man City, then we'll see a true test of his character, whether he is capable of managing Man United long term. But I still think Pochettino is the way forward.
So you want
I want Pochettino. I think there's a lot of points about Zidane coming in, but Zidane came into a Real Madrid team which had Ronaldo, Modric, Bale. These guys are amazing players. That team was already made for him. Whether Zidane would do well in England, a different story. I mean, this United team is a lot different than that Real Madrid team. So I think going forward, I think if Man United are to start winning the Premier League again, start winning the major cups, not just the FA Cups and the Capital One Cups and so on, I think we need to get a manager in that starts giving these young players
But in saying, obviously, you've said Pochettino first and foremost. I agree with a lot of what you said in the sense that he's not really been tested. We can't really judge him until we play Spurs, Man City, etc. I 100% agree with that. But what I will say is, Pochettino, you got to remember, Pochettino's not won anything. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here. So realistically speaking, just say Solskjaer, just hypothetically speaking, of course, if we get top 4. Just say we go on a decent cup run, an FA Cup, sorry, and we beat PSG. Do you think he still has the potential to become the manager, or would you still go with Pochettino? Because at the end of the day, what difference would it be between him and Pochettino then in that sense?
If you look at Pochettino, what he's done with Tottenham, I think he's done an amazing job with the players that he's had. They've not spent any money this season. They've got a good group of players, got a lot of young players. I still would go with Pochettino moving forward. I think the United way is to bring the young players going forward.
So even if Solskjaer got top 4, you said we'll go for Pochettino?
I still think we should go for Pochettino. I think what would happen is if Solskjaer got United into top 4 and we got a decent cup run and the next season he performed badly, everyone would be like, why wasn't Poch brought in? He was the wrong mind, the wrong decision. But I think touching on Man United, I think with the manager situation, I think Ed Woodward is a lot to blame. I mean, we've had Louis van Gaal, we've had Moise, we've had Mourinho, and now we've got Oli. I still think.
So just hypothetically speaking, just sorry to cut you off. What if Pochettino says he doesn't want to come?
If Pochettino says he doesn't want to come.
So if he doesn't want to come, just say, because obviously we're speaking like he's coming, he's not available, bear in mind. Because Zidane is of course available. So just say Pochettino turns around and say, I'm not coming, I want to build a project at Spurs, new stadium, etc. I want to make a legacy. So then what would you do? Would you give it to Oli, or would you still look elsewhere?
You got Carlo Ancelotti. Where is he at now?
So you still would go for somebody else over Oli?
Yeah, someone else.
Is that based on
experience,
credentials? Obviously,
credentials. Yeah. It's Man United. It's not us. No, it's not Liverpool. It's Man United.
But do you not think in the past we've had like you said, well, let's discount Moyes because he hasn't got experience at a high level.
He should never been given the job.
Yeah, let's not talk about Moyes. But Van Gaal and Jose Mourinho, arguably two of the most successful managers within their sort of era, so to speak. Well, Jose Mourinho is definitely up there, obviously. Van Gaal a bit 50-50. We went for experience in the past, and that's kind of backfired. Ollie's brought a fan's perspective to the job in the sense that he's come in as a fan more than a manager, if that makes sense, because like you can see with his sort of chemistry with Carrick, McKenna, and obviously Mike Phelan. To be honest with you, the main reason I would keep Ollie, and the only reason I'd keep Ollie if we got top 4, is if Mike Phelan is with them. If Mike Phelan stays, then I'm more I'm more accepting of Ollie staying. But if Mike Phelan wasn't to be here next season, then I would just not. I'd go with what you're saying. But I think because Mike Phelan's there, he's literally won everything with Sir Alex Ferguson. So he's probably the most experienced person we can have realistically. He knows the club inside out. So yeah, just hypothetically speaking, Poch isn't available. You'd go for Ancelotti. Is that what you're trying to say?
But we look at the two previous managers. I touched on the experience.
But we've already had experience.
We've had Louis van Gaal. I mean, his style of football is terrible. Him and Mourinho are no different. They play backwards football, very defensive. That's not the Man United way.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between Van Gaal and Mourinho, even though Mourinho learned from Van Gaal wasn't coming out in the public criticising players. I think we still do need a more experienced manager going forward. I mean, Ollie, we give him the chance. We'll give him the chance. See how it goes to the end of the season. If he wins something, that's good stuff.
But I still think moving forward,
Would you not? Would you? What about Zidane though? Because I feel like you've just written Zidane off.
But you gotta look at the job that he's done with Real Madrid. Look at the players that he's had though. He's had Ronaldo, he's had Modric.
Yeah, but do you not think it's? You got to remember that like for example, Barcelona, Barcelona teams in the past, no one's won the Champions League back to back, let alone 3 years in the bounce.
But then we go
and
back.
He beat everybody though. He beat, like, it wasn't even not like with Liverpool's run. We could argue, well, obviously with Man United fans, we will say, but they kind of had a lucky run to an extent. Obviously, they had Man City, which was probably the hardest game. But prior to that, they didn't have anyone you wouldn't think they'd beat. But Real Madrid literally had PSG, Bayern, the Giants, Juventus, everyone. They beat all of them to get to the final and win it. So do you think he's getting enough credit? Because like you said, we can only judge Oli on winning the main games. Do you think he deserves? Do you think Zidane should be higher than Ancelotti? Because for me personally, I'd rather take Zidane over Ancelotti, just because I think we need a fresh start.
We need someone proven. We need someone
Yeah,
proven.
but we've had someone proven though. We've had
players.
Jose Mourinho as the most proven winner in probably the history of football. Like he's after Sir Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho's there. He's literally in the top two after obviously Sir Alex, because no one's going to come near Sir Alex. You'd have to say it's between Pep and Jose for proven winners. But everywhere he's gone, he's won it, and he's had what 15-year career. Every single place he's gone, he's a proven winner, and then he's come to us and he's absolutely just lost the plot really. So do you think that's the road that we should continue to go down? Because I don't think it's worked in the past.
I think Mourinho first of all was a wrong appointment. I mean, she's a short-term fix. I think we saw the Mourinho at Chelsea in his second spell. We saw the wheels on the bus coming off, and we always knew in his third season, he always has this season dilemma. I think Mourinho was a good manager when no one knew how to play against his team. I think he's been found out. I mean, he does know how to win.
I think we're underestimating.
I think
we're underestimating this sort of notion that just get someone proven. Because like I said, Jose Mourinho. For me personally, when we got Jose Mourinho, and I remember you texting me, I was absolutely over the moon, and I'm sure a lot of United fans probably don't agree with this, but I was thinking this is my United back. Like, as deluded as that might sound now, obviously, but at the time when we got Jose Mourinho, I thought we are back, proven winner, probably the most credible manager we could have got. I know Pep Guardiola was available technically, but I still would have chosen Jose Mourinho because he was guaranteed to win the league. I'm not gonna lie, I'll hold my hands up and say I thought Pep was gonna flop. I put my hands up, and I know a lot of people have been saying that to me, but for me personally, the most proven manager in probably the history of the game, after maybe one or two, we got him, he absolutely flopped it, and now you're thinking of going down the same route and getting Ancelotti. I actually love Ancelotti, I've got to say, so that's not a bad shout. But what I'm trying to say is, for me personally, I think it's important that we go away from this notion of this guy's proven elsewhere, because Man United is a different kettle of fish. You know that, I know that. Real Madrid, different kettle of fish. You got to remember, it's not easy to manage Real Madrid. Imagine all the egos, imagine the constant pressure, and Zidane has done that. 3 years in a row he won the Champions League under, you know how bad their fans are. They were booing Ronaldo in his last season because he didn't score for like 3 games or something. The pressure is ridiculous. So he did it under so much pressure. So that's why I give him a lot of credit, because you got to remember that obviously he hasn't got the experience, etc., but you can't really discredit him because of the fact that he hasn't got the experience, because how's he meant to get the experience if no one gives him a chance? So that's my personal opinion. We'll move on to Spurs, and then we'll quickly do a preview for that game. I know we haven't got time for Arsenal, etc., but they're a dead club anyways. I'm joking. If there's any Arsenal fans, I don't mean that. I do mean that, really. Anyways, let's quickly move on to Spurs, and like I said, we'll do the preview because that's the most important game for obviously Man United fans. Just before we go on, Keishan's quickly said the German manager Joachim Low, would you take him?
I think I would give him a chance. I would give him a chance. There's no one else is available.
But do you think he stands like the point I'm trying to make to you is right? We've gone for the experienced manager, and don't get me wrong, he's a good manager, of course. He's won the World Cup, etc. But do you not think it's better if we actually go for someone that understands the club, like in the sense that play youth, attacking football, success? Because that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is literally a fan saying, "No, what, we're going to do it the way the fans want it." I'm pretty sure you're looking at thinking that's what I would have done most of the times. Obviously, some things we don't agree on, of course, but in general, we need someone that actually understands the club as well now. Because Jose Mourinho didn't understand the club; he thought it was all about him. So would you take Joachim Low?
If the primary targets weren't available, i.e. Poch, Poch, Zidane, and whoever
Yeah,
United
yeah.
got the shortlist, then I would consider Jurgen Low.
Fair enough. I can't argue with that, to be fair, because like you said,
I mean, there is other managers out there
yeah,
that are
no.
proven out there. Like Carlo Ancelotti, for example.
Yeah.
I mean, Zidane.
I'd take Ancelotti over
Zidane's-
Beckham Low, to be fair.
He's got a good record in Europe. I mean, the Premier League is different to the Spanish league. I
Yeah.
mean, in the Spanish league, you've got two or three teams challenging for La Liga. In the Premier League, you've got 10 top 10, 11 teams that can beat anyone on the day.
Yeah, no.
I mean, look at Leicester, for example, win the Premier League. Whoever would have predicted that?
Yeah. Speaking of other teams in Premier League, let's move on quickly because we're going to run out of time. Quickly, just to go over Spurs, what have you made of them? Because I know, obviously, like you've said, you want Pochettino, so clearly you must think highly of them. They won quite comfortably 3-0. I'm pretty sure they were 3-0 up at half time. No, like 25 minutes they were 3-0 up. I was watching the game live. They absolutely hammered Cardiff. So firstly, what have you made of Spurs? What did you make of the game, sort of thing?
I think Spurs played really well. I think they've got a lot of young players. I think Eriksen's a really important player. Son, and you've got Harry Kane as well.
Son's last game is against Man United, by the way, and then he's on international duty. Do you think he's going to be a massive miss for them?
I think so. I think he's kicked on, and he's kicked on this season. He looks a different
Do
player.
you think he gets enough credit?
No, I think he should get more credit. I mean, if you look at what he's done this season,
Yeah.
I mean, the media focus. I
Yeah.
mean, on the Asian players, there's not a big media
There's
focus.
not, you're right.
I mean, if you look at if his name were perhaps someone like Wayne Rooney, Stevens, they get a lot more coverage.
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, I still think he's an amazing player. I mean, his eye for goal is brilliant. He just fits that system, the football that they play. I just think that he's a great player for Spurs. I mean, he does deserve to start as well. I think they will miss that. They will miss his important goals.
Now, I was massively impressed with Spurs. For me personally, I agree with what you're saying. Pochettino's, I would still give it to Pochettino. The reason, although it's more like the romance with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously we love him, he's a fan favourite and so sort of thing. But I agree with you. I think Pochettino has to get the job, especially over what he's done with this crop of players. Like literally spent no money. Fantastic setup. Like the likes of Kane, these lot have come on absolute miles. Let's talk about their game against Man United, because obviously that's the most important game of the coming weekend. I know we missed quite a bit out about FA Cup and stuff, but we'll touch about that in a couple of weeks. So yeah, Man United playing Spurs this weekend. For me personally, this is the most important game for us obviously under Solskjaer, but in the season, because if we can get through this game, then we can potentially get top four, because Arsenal have got Chelsea, etc. How do you think that game's going to pan out?
I think it'll be a draw. I think we'll see the true test of Ollie's character. If United come away with that game with 3 points, that'll be an amazing result. I just think that with the Tottenham game, I think we'll see how much Man United have kicked on under Ollie. I do still think it will be a draw.
So you think we can get a draw? Do you think our defence? Let me just set you the scene in it, because obviously I've got to play devil's advocate with my Man United shirt on and that. Harry Kane up front against our defence. For me personally, I said this on the last show to Keishan as well. This has been Harry Kane's best season for me personally. His development has been unbelievable, and again, credit due to Pochettino. He's brought him on leaps and bounds. Also, they've got Son. That's going to be his last game, because obviously he's gone at international duty, so I'm assuming he's going to want to leave on a high. They've got Eriksen, they've got Dele Alli, they've got Lucas Moura, etc, etc. The defence is solid as well. They beat us 3-0 already at Old Trafford. Do you think we've got the capabilities? Obviously you're saying 1-1, so obviously we're not going to get a clean sheet. In fact, no, you didn't say 1-1, did you? You said a draw.
I said a draw, yeah.
Yeah, what score are you going for? 1-1.
I'm going 2-2.
2-2, okay. Do you think, realistically speaking, we have got the capabilities of seeing out their defence and obviously getting the result, like the draw? Like obviously,
I just think this United team are very poor defensively. I think Phil Jones is really poor.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a leader at centre back. We've tried Eric Bailly there. I think Eric Bailly is banned.
Bailly suspended, yeah.
Bailly suspended next game. I just don't think we've got a leader there. We don't have a Van Dijk. We don't have.
What about Darmian? Because Hamza was put in the chat, and for me personally, I thought he was fantastic against Reading. I know it's a proper random shout, but I really don't like Jones, and I just think Kane's. If I'm being honest with you, if Kane and Lindelof are playing, if Jones and Lindelof playing against Kane, honestly, we're away from how I can honestly see us getting beat.
But if you look at Harry Kane's record against Man United, he doesn't have the best.
But he did score.
He did score, but he doesn't have the best records against Man United. I think Old Trafford is quite.
Yeah, but we're not going to keep a clean sheet, are we? Let's be honest. I'm just playing devil's advocate here because obviously otherwise I'm just going to be sat agreeing with you. But so how do you think we should set up against them? So obviously we know what threat Spurs pose against us. Realistically speaking, we're going to have to outscore them, innit?
I think high pressing. I think not allowing Tottenham to play in the counter, because in Tottenham, with the pace they've got, they will try and counter us. I think we should set up to go and win. I think a draw will not be a terrible result, but realistically, if we're going to be challenging for the top 4, those are the games that we need to start winning.
No, 100%. I 100% agree. I think a draw isn't a bad result. I think if someone offered me a draw now, I probably would take it, basing on the games Arsenal have got coming up. They've got West Ham away, so realistically speaking, that's a hard game. And then they've got Chelsea. I'm not sure who's at home there, to be fair, but realistically speaking, if we went and drawed, we still would be in the top 4 race, I would imagine, obviously, even if we were to draw and they won, etc. But just regarding us playing high pressing and stuff against Spurs, I understand where you're coming from. However, you've got to remember that so far under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we played a high line against every team. They've got Son, they've got Luke. I don't think Lucas Moura will be playing. I'm assuming it's going to be Son, Eriksen, Dele Alli. Do you think we can get away with playing that aggressive against Spurs? Because realistically speaking, with the quality they've got, they can easily get in behind.
But if we rush players like Eriksen, don't give him time on the ball, will make it difficult for Spurs. The cracks might appear. We might be able to go there and get 3 points.
Where do you think their weaknesses lie then? If you were to pinpoint one area of one area that we can exploit, because realistically speaking, let's just say we're Pochettino, he's going to be looking at our full back 4 in it, realistically, and even that includes Luke Shaw as well, although I do like Luke Shaw, but he will look at our full back 4 and say weaknesses galore. Obviously, our front 6, to be fair, at the moment under Solskjaer, are looking decent with Herrera, Matic there. So where do you think their weaknesses lie? Where do you think we can exploit them in this game?
Their defence and the keeper. I don't think Lloris is.
Lloris is suspect. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I don't think Lloris is a great keeper. I don't think he's a keeper that everyone's making him out to be. I think if we just let the shots rip, just let the shots go. I mean, if you look at Lloris, he's made a lot of mistakes.
He parries a lot. To be fair,
I think they could be exposed. I think the Tottenham defence could be exposed. If you look at the previous season, the Tottenham defence quite solid. I agree with what you're saying, but we have to get in a situation that we can expose Lloris. You got to remember they've got. I don't know who's playing in the middle of the park. I'm assuming it's Sissoko, who's been quite good, to be fair, recently. But for me personally, I think Trippier is suspect. Like, I know he's been fantastic for England, and I know a lot of. But do England have anyone else?
Yeah, I know a lot of England fans probably won't agree with that, but for me personally, I think Trippier and I'm not sure who's going to be playing left back. Danny Rose.
Maybe it says Sergio Aurier. Will it be Aurier?
Yeah, I think their full back area is their weakest area defensively. Anyways, obviously Vertonghen and Alderweireld are solid. They got Sanchez as well. Davison Sanchez solid. Yeah, for me personally, we're going to have to go down the wings. So it's going to be important that the likes of Martial, the likes of Sanchez, etc., whoever they're playing, obviously are on job. Who would you play? We literally got like a minute left. We'll go through starting 11 and then we'll do a score prediction. So obviously start with De Gea in there.
You've got to have De Gea now.
Yeah, so what defence would you go for?
Defence, you've got to keep Ashley Young, play Ashley Young one side.
Ashley Young right back?
Yeah, Ashley Young right back. Then your left back, you've got, I think Delot that can play left back as well.
Who?
Is it Delot?
You can, but let's just go with the team you'd go. You just say one position.
You go Valencia right back.
50 seconds.
Valencia right back. You got Young left back. Centre backs. You're gonna have to play Lindelof.
Okay. Lindelof and who?
Whether Smalling's fit or not.
He's not fit.
If Smalling's not fit,
he's not fit.
Then we might have to go down the road of playing Jones.
Alright, okay. I'm going to speed this up because we've got literally 20 seconds. Okay. So first and foremost, I don't agree with anything you just said. No chance would I play Valencia in this game. Okay, so that's your back 4. I'm going Ashley Young right back, centre backs, Darmian and Lindelof left back. I'm going Luke Shaw, and then the front 6 is probably the same. And then Herrera, Matic, Pogba. You green on that? And then I'm going Martial, Rashford, and Lingard.
I'd play. If Sanchez is fit, I'd play Sanchez ahead of Lingard.
I don't think he's fit. But anyways, apart from that, sadly we run out of time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Just to say thank you, Johnny, for coming on, and we'll join you next week.
Till the next time.